Have you ever stopped to really think about what actually goes into the products and services we use every day?
Hmm.
It's, it's so much more than just how things look, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Design, really, it's about solving problems, right?
Mm,
Crafting experiences, shaping how we live and work.
exactly. And that's what we're digging into today, the global product design service market.
Okay.
And when we talk about these services, it's a really wide range. It's not just aesthetics.
Right.
It covers everything from the early user research, the strategy, the actual industrial design, the physical shape, but also the digital side, UX, UI, even prototyping.
So the whole
The
process.
whole journey, yeah.
Yeah.
Taking an idea from just a concept to something real that people can use. And often, companies outsource this to specialists.
Makes sense.
So we've got some pretty interesting market intelligence here. We're looking at projected sales revenue, 2021, 2025, and looking ahead to 2033, plus the growth rates, the CAGR trends.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Our mission, really, is to get behind these numbers.
Mhm.
We want to figure out what's driving all this growth around the world, where the sort of innovation hotspots are popping up,
Yeah.
and, what does it all mean for you, for businesses, and just the future of the stuff we interact with.
Let's do it.
So, starting big picture, the overall growth numbers are, well, they're pretty striking.
They really are.
Back in 2021, the global market recorded sales revenue around $5.57 billion, which is already a pretty big number.
Yeah, solid base. But what's fascinating here, like you said, is how fast it's scaling up.
Right.
By 2025, it's projected to hit nearly $8 billion.
Okay.
But then, get this, by 2033, the forecast jumps way up to $16.45 billion.
Wow, that's
It's
huge.
almost tripling in, what, 12 years?
Yeah.
Really shows this massive shift towards using external design expertise and just an acceleration in product innovation generally.
So that growth rate you mentioned, the CAGR.
Yeah, that comes out to a really robust compound annual growth rate of just over 9.4% year on year.
So, okay, if the market's nearly tripling, what does that actually mean for us, for companies, for innovation? To understand that, I guess we need to zoom in a bit, right? Look at
Yeah.
the regions.
Exactly. We need to see where this is happening most intensely and, importantly, why.
So where do we start? North America.
Yep, North America is currently leading the pack globally.
Okay.
They brought in about $2.29 billion back in 2021. That's expected to grow to over $3.2 billion by 2025.
Mm,
And the projection for 2033, nearly $6.45 billion.
still growing strong then.
Definitely. Maintaining a solid TGR there of just over 9%.
And inside North America, I imagine the U.S. is the big driver.
Oh, absolutely. The U.S. dominates. It was almost $2 billion, $1.91 billion to be precise, in 2021,
Right.
and projected to hit over $5.3 billion by 2033.
But you mentioned it's not just the U.S.
No, definitely not. Canada is showing really notable growth, too. Its CAGR is nearly 10%.
Oh, interesting. Higher than the regional average.
Yep. And Mexico also has a healthy growth rate, over 9.2% CAGR.
So what is it about North America? Is it just the sheer number of companies, or is there something else keeping it out front?
Well, it's a mix of things. You've got a very mature business environment, obviously,
Yeah.
high levels of digital adoption already, and a really strong focus historically on customer experience.
So companies are constantly tweaking things.
Constantly refining, launching new stuff. They often use these specialized design services to, get that competitive edge. It's a crowded market.
And Canada and Mexico.
I think there you're seeing more cross-border work, plus their own tech sectors are really growing and need that sophisticated design input.
Okay, so North America leads, but you mentioned acceleration earlier. Where's the fastest growth happening?
For that, you really have to look east. Asia Pacific. This is where it gets really interesting.
Okay, lay it on us.
Right, so the APAC market started at about $1.36 billion in 2021,
Uh-huh.
and it's projected to just skyrocket to nearly $4.5 billion by 2033.
Wow.
That's an impressive CAGR of over 10.4%, beating the global average.
And within APAC, China must be huge.
China's the biggest player, yeah. Growing fast, too, over 10.6% CAGR.
Okay.
But interestingly, India actually shows the highest growth rate in the entire region, a remarkable 11.4% CAGR.
Over 11%. What's
Yeah.
driving that in India?
It really points to a rapidly digitizing consumer base, huge mobile adoption,
Right.
and a booming tech startup scene. They're both hungry for well-designed products and often use outsourced design to scale up quickly.
That makes sense. And it's not just China and India, is it? You mentioned others.
No, definitely not. You've got strong performance across the board. Japan's at nearly 9.8% CGR. South Korea, almost 9.7%.
Okay.
Australia's strong too, almost 9%. Singapore's over 10.7%.
High-tech Singapore, yeah.
Exactly. And then you look at Southeast Asia as a whole, that's surging at nearly 11.2% COGR.
Wow. Even faster than India in that grouping.
Yep. And Taiwan's also strong, over 10% CAGR.
So is this explosion mostly down to digital transformation across Asia?
Largely, yes. I mean, many of these economies are sort of leapfrogging, right?
Mhm.
Driven by huge mobile-first populations, rapid uptake of digital services,
Yeah.
e-commerce, fintech, health tech.
All needing good design.
Absolutely. They need cutting-edge design that's intuitive and, crucially, culturally relevant to win users in really competitive markets.
Okay, so from that explosive growth in Asia, let's swing over to Europe, a more mature market, you think?
More mature, yes, but still showing really steady, significant expansion.
Right.
Europe posted nearly $1.2 billion in 2021, expected to reach over $3.3 billion by 2033.
And the growth rate there.
A solid CVR of almost 9%, just slightly below the global average, but very consistent.
And within Europe, who are the leaders?
Germany's leading the charge there.
Yeah.
CAGR over 9.6%.
Strong industrial base.
Exactly. The UK also has strong momentum, just over 9.3% CAGR. Then France, almost 8.4%, and Italy, just under 8.7%.
So what's the story in Europe? Is it different from APAC?
Well, it's perhaps less about brand new market creation, like in parts of Asia, and more about continuous optimization. Companies refining existing products, improving efficiency, maybe meeting sustainability goals or new regulations, all requiring ongoing design innovation.
Makes sense. So more refinement, and it's not just the big four.
No, we're seeing solid numbers elsewhere, too. Spain, for instance, is over 9.3% CAGR. Sweden's over 9.1%.
Right.
Even places like Denmark, Switzerland, Luxembourg, they all have robust KGRs, over 8%. It really shows how widespread the demand is across the continent.
Okay, let's pivot now to South America. What's happening there?
South America is also showing really strong growth. The overall KGR for the region is nearly 9.8%.
Oh, higher than Europe then.
Yeah, slightly higher.
Yeah.
Expanding from about $340 million in 2021 to projected over $1 billion by 2033.
And the leaders? Brazil?
Brazil leads, yes, with a KGR of nearly 9.6%. But what's really striking is Argentina.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, exceptional growth there at over 10.2% CAGR.
Wow. What's behind that, do you think?
It really signals a country pushing hard on its digital economy, investing in modern product development, maybe driven by a young tech-savvy population, maybe a surge in startups.
Interesting. And others.
Colombia and Chile are also contributing well. The key thing is all the countries tracked in South America showed KGRs over 9%.
So a real continent-wide trend.
Definitely. A clear shift towards prioritizing design.
Okay, last regions, the Middle East and Africa. Emerging drivers, you called them.
That's right. The Middle East market is projected to reach over $677 million by 2033.
And the growth.
Nearly 9.7% CAGR. Saudi Arabia is leading that region.
Okay.
But the UAE and Turkey are particularly interesting here.
Why is that?
Both are expected to more than double their market value by 2033.
Doubling.
Yeah. It really points to strategic investments they're making, trying to become regional tech and innovation hubs. That naturally pulls in demand for high-end design services.
Got it. And Africa.
Africa is showing significant growth, too, from around $156 million in 2021 to a projection of over $470 million by 2033. That's an almost 9% CAGR. South Africa is the largest market there currently.
Oh, what's driving growth in Africa? Similar themes.
Very similar. Increased digitalization is a big one, plus innovation in manufacturing and consumer goods. Often leveraging mobile-first strategies, given the smartphone penetration there. It suggests their consumer markets are maturing quickly.
Okay, so let's try and bring this all together then. We've toured the globe, and the story seems remarkably consistent, strong growth, pretty much everywhere.
Yeah, it's not just one or two places booming. It's a worldwide thing.
So the big so what question. Why is this market accelerating everywhere? What does it all mean?
Well, if you connect the dots, the demand for design services, innovative, scalable, cost-effective design, it just keeps climbing.
Driven by?
Driven by a few key interconnected global trends, really. First, you've got digital transformation. Every company is becoming a tech company, right?
Right. Doesn't matter the sector.
Exactly. They need to digitize products, services, think banking apps, smart home stuff, industrial controls. Second, consumer personalization.
We want things tailored to us.
Precisely. People expect tailored experiences, products designed just for them or their specific needs. That pushes companies to invest in really specific, user-focused design.
Okay, digital transformation, personalization. What's the third?
Industrial development. Just the ongoing evolution of manufacturing, robotics, supply chains. It all creates a constant need for new or optimized physical products, and importantly, the digital interfaces that control them.
So this isn't just, abstract economics or big business talk.
Not at all.
It directly impacts the quality, the usability, the innovation, and the things you listening use every single day. Your phone apps, your car interface, even the packaging on your food.
Yeah, design touches everything.
Which kind of leads to a bigger question, doesn't it? What kind of world are all these design services actually, well, designing for us?
That's a great question to ponder.
So the key takeaway from this deep dive seems clear. The product design service market. It's a global powerhouse of growth.
Absolutely.
And it really reflects this fundamental shift in how products and services get made, how they get conceived and improved, all driven by this universal demand for, well, better stuff, more intuitive experiences.
Couldn't have said it better. It's a core driver of innovation now.
Which leaves us with maybe a final thought to chew on.
Yeah.
As technology just keeps racing ahead, AI, metaverse, maybe even bioengineered things we can't imagine yet, and our needs as consumers keep changing. What completely new types of design services might pop up in the next few years?
That's a fascinating question. What skills will be needed?
Right. And what industries that we don't even think about today might suddenly find themselves relying heavily on outsourced design expertise, completely transforming how they operate.
Yeah, what's the next frontier for design? Definitely something to think about.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're plunging into a really fascinating and fast-moving space, the product design service market. This isn't just about making things look nice. It's a sector that's, well, it's really transforming. Global innovation, changing customer demands, it's all happening. So our mission today is basically to give you a shortcut, a way to get properly informed about this critical industry, maybe with some insights you wouldn't just find with a quick search.
Absolutely. And understanding this market now is, well, it's more crucial than ever, I think. It really is at the forefront of shaping the products and experiences that define how we live today. Impacting everything from the phone in your pocket to vital health tech.
Okay, so what's really driving all this growth? Let's try and unpack that. Maybe we start with the fundamental shift in what customers expect. There's this growing, almost insatiable demand for designs that are user-focused and, frankly, creative. It's not just about function anymore, is it? People want things that feel intuitive, look great, and are just, well, a pleasure to interact with.
Exactly. And businesses are definitely catching on. What's interesting, though, is it's not just about looking good. They're actively seeking out professional design help because the cost of bad design, like customers leaving, endless support calls, brand damage that cost, often dwarfs the investment in good design up front. It's become a clear ROI driver.
Yeah.
So, yeah, good design is now strategic. It's not a luxury item anymore.
Right, that makes sense. And beyond just what users want, there's this other huge force, the explosion of new companies, right? Startups everywhere. Think about consumer electronics, health tech, wearables, all these areas. And these companies, they move fast, but often they just don't have that deep in-house design expertise they need to really compete.
That's precisely the gap that outsourced design teams fill. These startups really lean on them for everything, rapid prototypes, user testing, getting those ideas market ready. So it creates this huge demand for flexible, agile solutions that can keep up with those super fast innovation cycles and, let's face it, tight launch deadlines.
Yeah.
It lets them innovate without massive overhead.
And then, maybe this is where it gets really interesting, the tools themselves, the technology designers are using, we're seeing these incredible leaps forward, aren't we? What about the impact of things like modern software, 3D modeling, virtual prototyping?
Oh, absolutely. These tools have fundamentally changed the game. We're talking software that enables things like generative design, where AI helps explore tons of options, really sophisticated 3D modeling that links right into manufacturing, and virtual prototyping platforms. Amazing. You can simulate user interaction in real time. It just drastically cuts down the need for physical models, meaning faster design cycles, quicker routes to market. It empowers companies to innovate at a scale and speed that, honestly, was unimaginable not long ago.
Okay, but it's not all smooth sailing, right? With all this opportunity, there have got to be challenges. Let's talk about some of the constraints. I guess the first big one people hit is often just the cost. These services can be expensive. Things like detailed industrial design, complex prototypes, thorough user testing. It adds up.
It does add up, yeah.
Hmm.
But what's fascinating here, or maybe the deeper issue, is that smaller businesses sometimes struggle to see the connection. They struggle to connect that upfront design cost with the long-term market win. They might miss the chance to design out future problems,
Uh-huh.
like costly returns or bad reviews, or miss building that early brand love that pays off down the line. So yeah, the cost can definitely limit their ability to bring really top-notch products to market, even if the idea itself is brilliant.
And then there's the whole tricky area of intellectual property, IP, and potential ownership squabbles.
Hmm.
When you bring in external designers, questions about who owns the final design, confidentiality, those things can pop up pretty easily.
Yeah, that's a really delicate balance. And without super clear contracts, robust agreements in place, while things can go sideways, the impact can be serious.
Mm.
We've seen it range from product launches getting shelved indefinitely to, full-blown expensive legal battles. So that creates this wariness sometimes. It makes some companies hesitant to fully outsource core design work. They might prefer to keep at least some control in-house.
Okay, and a third challenge. This feels like a big one. Aligning those external diviners with the actual brand vision. It seems like misunderstandings or just communication gaps could easily happen, right? And then you end up with a product that just doesn't quite fit, doesn't resonate. It's a big shift from having everyone under one roof.
This raises a really important question, doesn't it? What happens when that alignment isn't there? Well, you're potentially looking at delays, extra costs for rework. But maybe worse, you could completely miss your market window because the product just feels off. That's why finding the right design partner is so critical. It's worth investing time up front to find a team that really gets your brand, your values, almost like they're an extension of your own internal team.
Right. So, despite those hurdles, there are definitely some big trends pushing the industry forward in exciting ways. Let's shift to those. First one that seems huge is the move towards sustainable and eco-friendly design.
Yeah, that's massive. And it's being pushed from both sides, really. Consumers are demanding it, and regulators are increasingly requiring it. Greener solutions are becoming table stakes. So design firms are actively doing things like integrating, say, recycled or upcycled materials, designing for modularity so things are easier to repair or recycle at the end of life, and exploring low-impact production like 3D printing to reduce waste. Sustainability isn't just ethical anymore, it's genuinely a competitive advantage.
Okay, and next up, the rise of AI and data in design. That sounds like a potential game changer. Product design companies using machine learning, analytics. How's that actually working?
Well, they're applying AI and data to get much, much deeper insights into what users actually do and want. Not just surveys, but analyzing behavior. They're forecasting trends more accurately, sometimes even spotting micro-trends by looking at social data, for instance, and using machine learning to fine-tune specific features, maybe optimizing a user interface based on how people really interact with it, running A/B tests at huge scale. Ultimately, this data-driven approach just makes design smarter, often more personalized, and definitely more likely to succeed in the market.
And finally, something we're seeing everywhere, the whole global nature of work. How is that changing design services, remote teams, global collaboration?
Yeah, that's transformed things. Thanks to cloud platforms, amazing virtual communication tools, companies can tap into design talent literally anywhere,
Yeah.
which is great, right? Brings in diverse perspectives, a wider pool of
Yeah.
creativity, but practically it can also speed things up. You can have teams working across time zones, sort of a 2-4-7 cycle. Just adds a huge amount of flexibility to the whole creative process. Makes design much more agile and responsive.
So, wrapping this all up, what's the big picture here? What does this all mean for you listening?
Well, it seems clear the product design service market is becoming more essential, definitely smarter, and way more globally connected than it's ever been.
That's really the key takeaway, I think. As tech keeps racing ahead and what customers want keeps shifting, having that nuanced understanding of product design services is just going to be increasingly vital for anyone serious about innovation and succeeding in the market. Which leaves us with a final thought to chew on. As AI and data get woven even deeper into product design, how does that change the role of human creativity? Does the machine become a kind of co-creator? And maybe more importantly, what new ethical questions does that raise for businesses using these powerful services? Something to think about.